This is a continuation of the camera inspection. This is for the west side roof. We're in the center of the roof, sending the camera down a 3-inch vent stack, cast iron. We are now in the horizontal portion of the sewer line. And that's the scale buildup. Alright, we made it to the main line tie-in. We'll set up at the next vent stack. We are now set up in a 2-inch vent stack, sending the camera down line. According to the condition of the cast iron. Alright, that's the scale buildup. On the walls, this is the vertical, and as you can see, as the rusting scale is literally falling down, it's somewhere stuck or clogged here. We will have to retrieve this camera and set up at the next vent stack.
We are currently set up at the 3-inch roof vent stack located on the west end of the property. We will now send our camera down line and record the condition of the sewer line. Heavy grease and scale buildup along the walls of the pipe. Heavy grease buildup located underneath the concrete slab of the property. As you can see, we have now made it to the main sewer line. We will now retrieve our camera and move on to the next roof vent stack. We are currently set up at the 2-inch roof vent stack located on the west end of the property. We will now send our camera down line and record the condition of the sewer line. Heavy rust buildup inside the sewer line. As you can see, we have grease buildup in the sewer line. We have made it to the main portion of the sewer line. We will now retrieve our camera and move on to the next roof vent stack. We are located at the 3-inch roof vent stack located on the west end of the property. We will now send our camera down line and record the condition of the sewer line. As you can see, we are now entering PVC pipe, which is an indication that there was a repair made here. We are now going back into cast iron, which is the main sewer line that was previously recorded on our previous recording. We will now retrieve our camera and move on to the next roof vent stack.
We are now set up at the 2-inch vent stack. This is next to the west side roof hatch. Heavy rust and scale and debris buildup in the vertical will retrieve camera. Set up at the next vent stack. Alright, we are set up at the next 2-inch vent stack, still next to the west side ramp. Sending the camera down line. PVC repair made. Now it's back to cast iron. We're on the horizontal portion. Alright, we made it to PVC. Distorted, but should be tying back into cast iron. We'll set up at the next vent stack. We are set up at the 2-inch vent stack, still on the west side roof, sending the camera down line, the cast iron vent stack. Heavy rust and scale buildup. We are now in the PVC portion, but we're still in the vertical pipe. PVC, so some sort of repairs were made. Very difficult to go down line. We'll retrieve the camera set up at the next vent stack. We are now set on the west side of the roof. We have 2 vent stacks, that's 3-inch, that are next to each other. We'll send the camera down line and record both of them. Cast iron vertical vent stack. We're on the horizontal portion of the sewer line, sending the camera down line, but this main sewer line was previously recorded, as you can see. We'll remove the camera and send it up at the next vent stack. We are set up at the next 3-inch vent stack. That's cast iron, sending the camera down line. We are now in the horizontal portion of the sewer line, and this was in the previous recording. We will retrieve the camera and set it up at the next vent stack. All right, let me record. There we go. 2-inch cast iron pipe, sending the camera down line. Recording the condition of the sewer line. Vertical rust and scale buildup in the vertical. And we are at the tie-in to go horizontal. As you can see, we're going horizontal. The camera is distorted due to debris. Alright, now we made it to the tie-in, to the main line tie-in. We will remove the camera and set up at the next vent stack.
We are currently set up at the 3-inch roof vent stack located on the west end of the property. We will now send our camera down line and record the condition of the sewer line. As you can see, we made it to the main line. We will now pull our camera back and move on to the next roof vent stack.
Set up at the next 2-inch vent stack. Camera down line. We are in the horizontal portion of the sewer line. Rust and scale buildup, and we have now made it into the tie-in that was previously recorded. We'll retrieve camera and set it at the next vent stack. And set up at the 3-inch vent stack, still on the west side roof, setting the camera down line, cast iron vent stack. Horizontal portion of the sewer line. We'll retrieve camera as the sewer line was previously recorded. I set up at the 2-inch vent stack next to the 3-inch vent stack previously recorded, sending the camera down line, recording the condition of the cast iron vent stack and sewer pipe. We have just made it into the tie-in. We'll retrieve the camera and set up at the next vent stack. And sending the camera down line, 2-inch vent stack. Still on the west side roof. And the vertical vent stack for the rust and scale buildup. Now the camera's distorted. As you can see, a little bit still heavy buildup in the sewer line. Okay. We'll retrieve camera set up at the next vent stack. Alright, setting the camera down line, 3-inch vent stack. We are still on the west side roof. Heavy buildup in the vertical vent stack. We'll retrieve the camera due to camera is distorted due to debris in the sewer line. We'll set up at the next vent stack. Alright, we're set up at 2 vent stacks that are close to each other. 2-inch and 3-inch still on the west side roof, sending the camera down line. Cast iron vent stack. That'll be the main tie-in. If we have a 3-inch vent stack less than a foot away from this vent stack, we'll retrieve the camera, send it down line. Alright, we are now sending it to the 3-inch vent stack that's close to the 2-inch, within 1 feet. And rust and scale build up in the vertical. That is the main line tie. We will retrieve the camera and set up at the next vent stack. And we are set up at the last 3-inch main vent stack, which is located on the south end of the west roof. This is the last 3-inch main vent stack for the west side roof. According to the condition of this cast iron vent stack. Now in the horizontal portion of the vent stack. We are now at the tie-in. We'll retrieve the camera and set up at the last 2 2-inch vent stacks on the west side roof. And now set up at the last 2 remaining vent stacks of the west side roof, setting the camera down line, recording the condition of the cast iron vent stack and sewer pipe. Alright, PVC repair, look like this is the second floor repair. You can see rust and scale build up. horizontal portion, and this would be the main tie-in. We'll retrieve the sewer camera and send it down the last vent stack of the west roof. We are now set up at the last 2-inch vent stack on the west side roof, sending the camera down, recording the condition of the cast iron vent stack and sewer line. Extremely difficult to make this bend. You can see build up right here. That would have to be cleaned probably before the camera can go any further. So we will retrieve the camera. This will, and the recording for the west side roof. We will now finish the remaining south side roof. And we are now back on the south roof. This is where we originally started the camera. We started halfway through, and we're going to do the other half and complete the camera inspection. This is a 3-inch vent stack located on the south roof. Heavy rust and scale buildup, as you can see, and don't want to go any further. Going a little further slowly, rather. As you can see the buildup. We don't want to damage the pipe by pushing debris and creating a clog. Heavy buildup. We are now in the tie-in, so we will retrieve the camera set up at the next vent stack. Now set up at the 3-inch vent stack. We are on the south roof, sending the camera down line. Cast iron vent stack. We are in the horizontal portion of the sewer line. That is the tie-in for the main line. We will retrieve the camera and set up at the next vent stack. Alright, we are now set up at the final 3-inch vent stack. This would be on the south roof. This is the last 3-inch vent stack that we will record on the roof. Cast iron vent stack. We are now in the horizontal portion of the cast iron pipe. Alright, heavy buildup in the sewer line. Camera is distorted. We'll retrieve camera set up at the last 2 remaining vent stacks on the roof.
Woo, thank God. We are currently set up at the 2-inch roof vent stack. We will now send our camera down line and record the condition of the sewer line. We have rust and scale buildup along the walls of the vertical portion of the pipe. As you can see, we are now entering PVC pipe, which is an indication that a repair was made. Back to cast iron. Heavy buildup along the walls of the pipe. As you can see, we are now making it to the tie-in. We will now retrieve our camera and move on to the last and final vent stack. We are currently set up at our last and final 2-inch roof vent stack. We will now send our camera down line and record the condition of the sewer line. As you can see, we have now made it to the tie-in. We will now pull our camera back, and this will conclude our camera inspection.